don't know who I am. Today we're doing a new Pick 6 on 6 PS2 hidden gems. Before we get into this Pick 6, let's just talk about the PS2 itself. The PS2, what a great machine. That thing has sold over 158 million units worldwide across the two different variants that they did release. At first, there was the original Fat. Alright, the big guy. I pre-ordered and I picked it up for the midnight release. This big, beautiful black box of goodness. That midnight launch was a lot of fun. It was great being there at the store, being there with everybody else, geeking out, ready to grab our PS2 brand new machine. Not only that, not only was it a brand new PS2, it was an affordable DVD player. And then after we had the Fat there for a little while, there was the remodel and the redesign for the PS2 Slim, which turned into this. Look at that. That guy is tiny. So what I have here now are my 6 hidden gems for the PS2. With pick number 1, we have Roadkill. Yes, Roadkill. Excellent game. Excellent game. In fact, it tells you, the first caption on the back tells you exactly what this is going to be. Twisted Metal Black meets Grand Theft Auto. And that's what it is. This is a great vehicular combat game. Well, let's read the back description here. Drive to survive as you establish your badass reputation leading a gang of cutthroats and renegades in the massive living world of Hell County. Yeah, and that's what you do. You've got a pretty decent, fairly open world. I think there's a few little sections, and you do each world has missions that they want you to do to unlock the next one for the pieces of the Hell County, but it's pretty open-ended too. You can just continue to go out and do whatever you want with these other just things that are happening within the world itself. There's a good selection of vehicles to choose from and to purchase the find. The customization for the vehicles is really fun, and of course is where the heart of it is at. There's a few missions where you're sitting in the back of one of your vehicles and you're manning some giant gun as it computer drives you along and you shoot everything coming up behind you and stuff. But for the most part, it is exactly what it says. Twisted Metal Black meets Grand Theft Auto. And with that, you can sink a lot of hours into Roadkill. Coming in here, my second pick is one PS2 game that I talk about constantly and will continue to talk about, and that is Extermination. This was quite a game. This was one I loved this game so much. This game is so great. This is best way to describe this, same way I've described it before, it is a mashup of The Thing and Resident Evil coming together for a crazy, crazy adventure. Again, let's read from the back of the the case here to see exactly what we're in for. Welcome to the Endangered Species List. You're under orders to uncover the cause of a distress signal emanating from a secret military base in Antarctica. Once there, you find the base contaminated by a virus that has ferociously infected and mutated every living and non-living thing in sight. And you're next. So yeah, this is coming off of that big hype from PlayStation 1 where Resident Evil was just killing it with Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3, and just the survival horror was getting bigger and bigger. We had Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2, we had Dino Crisis, we had Fear Effect, we had all these great games that were happening, and all the Silent Hills. And so the PS2, one of the first ones out of the gate here was Extermination. It's been a long time since I've gone back to it, so the controls, I'm sure, are a bit archaic and very tank-like. I know there was a you were, like it says in the back of the case here, you were, once you got there at the base, you got infected by this virus. And part of the management and of the survival horror of this game was controlling that infection that you had. Because as you continued on, you know, the infection would grow in your body, or you'd get into an area, or you'd step in something that would make you infect you even more and more, and you'd have to find antidote and, you know, other serums, you know, within the base to try and bring your infection down. You've got a gun. It's like a AR-15 or an M16 style, you know, military weapon, and you get to customize that throughout the game. You get to find all sorts of different attachments. It was quite intense. I'm sure if I were to go back, you know, the voice acting probably isn't the greatest, but but so what? It's a lot of fun. And for pick number 3, we've got a game from a franchise that started off in the Commodore and Apple era. I'm sure other computers back in the time had it, but that is Wizardry. And this is Tales of the Forsaken Land on the PS2. Wizardry, such a storied and veteran franchise of awesome and great role-playing games. You can almost never go wrong with a Wizardry title. And when I saw this for the PS2, I grabbed it. Yeah, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and read the back of this case and see what this one has in store for us. Our story takes place in the peaceful kingdom of Dunham, until one day a sphere of light from the heavens shatters the evening sky. Thousands are killed, and the kingdom is in ruins. Demonic creatures from the underworld have emerged, and the Queen of Dunham has disappeared into the labyrinths beneath the castle. The labyrinths are said to hold the greatest treasures in the land, but will you survive long enough to enjoy them? And it's Wizardry. It's just a traditional 3D dungeon crawler, and it doesn't shy away from that, and it leans nice and heavily into it. It's a great game. The setting is nice and limited to within, just like you heard, that one castle and the giant dungeon found underneath. So you continually go down in, delve deeper and deeper and deeper, and to come back out. Yeah, you get to create your party, you know, from, what is it? Let's see if it tells us on the back here. Ah, yes, we're in luck. You get to create and customize your party from 5 races and 8 different character classes. And with all those possible combinations, you have quite a reason to come back and replay this again and again. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. With pick number 4 here, I might have cheated just a little bit, as in this game was not a hidden gem for the PC community, and that's where I first played this. But when I saw it eventually be released for the PS2, I snatched it up because this is one heck of an enjoyable game. And that is, No One Wants to Live Forever. That's right. You'd think this was a James Bond game, but it's not. It's just a wonderful spoof on all the spy genre. If you never had a chance to play it on the PC, then you definitely want to play it on the PS2. Well, let's go ahead and read the back so you can hear what this is all about. Assume the role of secret agent Kate Archer, a deadly operative working to free the world from harm. HARM. A group of madmen bent upon world domination. Armed with your arsenal of powerful weaponry and spy gadgets, you must unravel a mystery that will take you around the world in a desperate search for answers. Try not to blow your cover, or you're cool. And this game is fun. It's fun to play. It's hilarious to listen to. Playing as Kate, with all of her fun little spy gadgets that are just as over the top and as crazy as we saw in those early James Bond films. Yet no one lives forever. This is a hoot and a holler and a really good time. As you can see from the screen behind me, there is a wonderful color to be found within this game. Yeah, the colors are everywhere. It's not your muddled browns and grays. This has got bright, crisp colors all over the place in fun and exciting ways. So yes, if you're looking for a great first-person shooter, which has some of the older style controls, but not too bad, but has a lot of humor and is definitely very self-aware, and you want to play No One Lives Forever. Oh, here we are for pick number 5, and you know, you knew something like this was on its way, and that is Metal Saga. Why Metal Saga? Well, as you can see, tanks. If it's got tanks in it, I have to have it. I have to play it. It needs to be mine. That's just what Metal Saga is. This is a series that, of course, came from Japan, but we have only received, I think, 2 of the games here, and that is Metal Saga, and then the recent Metal Max Xeno. That is a continuation of this as well. Oh, talk about a crazy game with tanks, dogs with machine guns, and and people as well. It's kind of partially open world. You start on like one part of the map and you work your way to the other part as you're just trying to find new tanks, customize your tanks, and beat a whole bunch of weird stuff up. Let's go ahead and read the back of the box here and see what it's all about. In a not so distant future, desperate to find a way to save the Earth from pollution, mankind created a gigantic supercomputer and named it Noah. Noah's solution, however, was to exterminate its creators. Yeah, so it killed us. As the years passed, the number of surviving humans grew, slowly but steadily. They lived off of the technology that they were able to salvage from the piles of wreckage after the Great Destruction. And now, a young hunter is about to embark on an epic journey through a post-apocalyptic wasteland to fulfill his destiny. There's not much else I can say about Metal Saga without giving too much away or taking away from its self-awareness, its silliness, its desire to just be a fun RPG in a crazy world setting with a crazy idea of what the future could be. But, you know, it's got tanks, so you gotta get it. Oh, and coming in at pick number 6 is one I've talked about before, and one I will talk about again because this is one of my all-time favorite franchises, and this is one of my favorite games, and that is Front Mission 4. Oh, the Front Mission series. I wish we would have them all over here in North America, but we've got a good amount of them so far, and they are definitely all worth playing. Let's look at the back of this case and see what it has to say. Oh, it's just all good bullet points. So command your giant mechanized forces in massive, detailed urban battlefields. Pilot a variety of Lancers and customize them for combat, repair work, airstrikes, and more. Encounter 2 compelling intertwining storylines featuring characters with real voiceovers. Oh yeah, there's voice work on this one. It was fine. Devastate your enemy with a wide array of advanced weapons and tactics. And that is true. The tactics in Front Mission 4 are definitely a lot deeper than we had in Front Mission 3. There's more strategy, there are more combinations, there are more pieces of your Lancers and that you can customize. The pilots can get new skills to really intertwine with each other and work with each other, and it's you can pull off some really cool combinations to turn the tide of the battle in your favor. 2 stories that happen at once that do intertwine. The first time I played through, I thought it was a little it did annoy me a little bit because you'd get going down one path in one story and really kind of into that one, and then it just all of a sudden break from there, leave you at a cliffhanger, of course, and go to the other story and work down that way, and then break at a cliffhanger and swing you back over here. I wish I could have just, like in Front Mission 3, picked one of the storylines and gone down it, and then gone down the other one. But on my second playthrough, when I did this, I really did enjoy the intertwine of the stories and thought that they moved together very well. And I see why they did that, and it did work out in the end as a positive for this game. The graphics here for the PS2 are top-notch. Man, the detail is great. The frame rate is wonderful. There's a few cutscenes here and there that just are beautiful and really help bring what's happening in this world alive, and really keeps you vested and really interested in what's happening. Well, there we go. Those were 6 hidden gems for the PS2. Why don't you go ahead and let me know in the comments below which game of these that you've played and enjoyed, or maybe you did enjoy them, or let me know what one of your PS2 hidden gems are. All right, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, game on. Is that how it's supposed to end?